I'm Max Sterling, welcome to LARPgasm. Today I'm going to show you how to turn this oil filter into an awesome accessory for your Nerf blaster. Stay tuned. So today we're making a pretty awesome accessory for your Nerf blaster, and if you know anything, then you may know where we're going with this. Now what we're going to do is go ahead and take this oil filter and set it down here on these two boards. And we're going to need a big screwdriver and a hammer. And we're going to go ahead and hammer down through this oil filter because we want it to look like the blast went outward. That way it helps add some realism to it. Now it's going to leave a few little jagged edges on there which you'll have to roll over. And depending on your game's safety or what you're using it for, they may bitch at you. If they do, then just punch the hole through the other way, and then that way there shouldn't be any sharp edges on the outside. You could also put like a clear resin or like an epoxy over the outside of it if they give you trouble, to make that smooth but still clear so that you can see the effect. Hopefully you don't have to get that involved, but if you do, I'm just trying to throw some ideas out there for you. Now once you get this punched through, you're going to need something a little bit wider and preferably circular to punch through. Now you can use a piece of pipe probably. If you have a piece of metal pipe, that'd be great. I'm just using a large drill bit that I have to punch it out a little bit more, and then from there we're just going to get some pliers and then we're just going to peel this back. Alright, so once you have the hole punched out, the next step is going to be insert a piece of pipe. What this is going to do is to keep your dart, on target. If you don't put this in there, it could get stuck in the end of the oil filter and not go anywhere. It could hit the edge and bounce weird, so we definitely want to put this piece of pipe in there. I'm using a larger diameter piece. If you're really concerned about accuracy and stuff, then I'll let you know how to deal with that a little bit later. But for right now, we want to put this larger diameter pipe in here. And this is just going to sit right inside the oil filter flush. So all you should have to do on this is just make sure that it's cut to the correct length. It should be the same as the oil filter, and then you're just going to push it right down inside. This particular one fit nice and snug against the bottom of the oil filter, so it looks very professional, very clean, very nice. You can also paint this before you put it in if you'd like to. I'm just going to put it in now to make this video go a little bit faster. Okay, now for the next step. Now some Nerf blasters have barrels that you're able to do this with. Others you may not be able to do this with. So you're really going to have to look at the end of your blaster and see if this is something you can do. Now there may be mods out there that allow you to do this. There may be something that you can 3D print that allows you to do this more easily. However, this is nice and cheap. What I'm using is actually not a piece of PVC pipe that you'd buy off the shelf per se, but it is a runoff tube for like a hot water heater. It's very thin walled, and it is the exact correct diameter to fit inside this Nerf gun barrel. So get yourself a runoff tube, and I mean, you may have to double check. You may end up having to buy a couple pipes, bring them home, and return them and exchange them and stuff. But I'm just telling you what I'm using, and it's a runoff tube, and it fits. Now I noticed, however, that on the older guns, it fit perfect. On the newer blasters, I needed to actually shave it down a little bit. If you have a grinding wheel at home, it'll be easy for you. If you don't have a grinding wheel, then you're gonna have to get some sandpaper and do it the old-fashioned way. But just sand it down as much as you can. You may think adding some heat is a good idea, however, this pipe will melt very easily, and if you aren't exactly precise, you're going to overdo it, and whenever you go to twist this in there, it's going to bend the pipe and you'll have to start all over. So stick to sanding, stick to grinding, be patient, a little bit at a time. You're just taking off that outside diameter of the wall until it'll fit into the barrel. Once you have that, you're going to just use some muscle and you're going to twist and screw this in until it basically threads itself. Now, if you have a pipe threader, then good on you. You can thread the end of this and you can put it right on in there and you're going to be good to go. If you do a pipe threader, then I would probably thread the whole thing, and I would actually run this pipe the whole way through to the end and brace it up on the end with hot glue or something, and just run this narrow diameter barrel the whole way through. That way it'll be much more accurate for you. If you're not able to do that and you're just going to sort of screw it in like I am doing here, and you're just going to have it in maybe like ½ an inch, that's fine. It's just whenever it gets to the end there, it's going to open up a little bit. So occasionally you may have a dart that strikes that larger diameter inside the oil filter, and it may fly a little wonky, but I did some test shots and didn't really have any problems. So once you have that in there, you may need to cut down the actual length of the pipe, because you don't want to have this huge long pipe sticking out from your blaster into the filter. You want to have just a little chunk, so you may have to cut it off after you do this. But once it's cut off, it's simply a matter of stuffing it in the end of the blaster and you're ready to rock and roll. Now, I would suggest gluing this stuff in. I mean, you can use whatever glue you like, but I would suggest definitely making the pipes in the filter permanent with glue, epoxy, whatever you want to use, JB Weld, but make it permanent so that that's not wiggling around. As far as the blaster end, now if it fits nice and snug and you feel comfortable with it, then I mean you can keep it as just a loose accessory that you can switch between blasters. Or what I would suggest is, if you know the blaster is always going to be on there, I would actually get some glue and I would just glue it right into the end of it. Then that way you don't have to worry about it ever falling out when you're running or something along those lines. But that's pretty much it. So now we're going to go ahead and test this bad boy out. So you can see the barrel's still nice and straight. You may have to clean inside there, but go ahead and slap the magazine in here. And you can see that it still shoots nice. Now this filter silencer mod, it'll work on any gun that has this type of barrel. Let me see if I can get a close-up for you so you see what I mean. When I say this type of barrel, this is what I mean right here. So this type of barrel that your Strife is going to have on it, and the pipe I have fits right inside here. Now you may find one that fits on the outside. That's cool as long as it fits on your filter and everything works out. So this is actually swappable between guns. However, I would suggest once you pick a gun to put it on, that you actually just leave it on there, because this is really solid, don't get me wrong, but you're really going to want to probably like epoxy this piece of pipe onto the filter and probably secure it inside your gun as well, because that way, you know, when you're running around and stuff, it doesn't fall off. Like I said, this seems pretty secure, but if you knock this on a tree or something, it would come out. And because you have to really push on it and stuff, you may not be able to fix it while you're at your game. But yeah. As far as I know, I'm the only person that's got this mod. I think it's pretty awesome. But just be careful with the end here. You may want to sort of mess around with it. Ideally, you get like the nice little 4 pattern from it shooting out. You may want to clean this up a little bit. If you can get this pipe to sit down a little bit further inside, you can get it looking a lot better so that you don't actually see the pipe. Of course, this pipe and this pipe should be painted black, but you know, for this tutorial I just wanted to sort of do it for you. I can always come back later, hit this up with a little bit of paint, hit this up with a little bit of paint, and make it look better. Now this is jagged and rough, so you may have to do something with this to make it safe. So depending on your safety, people, you'll have to look and see. But I mean, you shouldn't be hitting anyone with the end of your gun anyhow, and it's not really that rugged. But if you hammer this completely flat, then you shouldn't have any problems. If you do, you know, you can always punch this in from the outside so that this is all interior. It's not going to look quite as cool like the bullet shot out of it, but you'll still get the same look. You still get the same photo. I would, of course, you know, put on like a latex glove and get some oil on my hand and probably rub it all over this so it was nice and like oily, like you unscrewed it from a car, and then probably try to spray it with a sealer or paint it up and make it look like it fits the genre. And so that's pretty much the Nerf oil filter silencer mod. And you know, it's basically completely cosmetic. Yes, it makes the gun very top heavy, so this is more for looks. I mean, this isn't something you're going to want to do if you know, want to be able to use this gun for anything fast moving. But for a LARP where things are a little bit slower paced, or just for looks, totally cool thing to do. And if you like this video, please click like, subscribe to my channel, let everyone that you know about my channel, and have them come take a look and subscribe if they're interested. And as always, adventure on.